What is love? Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me in my What is Love project. 30 days exploring what is not, and whatever is love. Day 9. Illusion. Love is not an illusion, but illusion can stop us from feeling love or feeling being loved. Last year, while my father was at the hospital, I discovered the biggest illusion I have been living under my whole life. Growing up, I always thought that all my relatives didn't like me and they only liked my brother. I make observation, my brother got all the attention, and I didn't. So obviously I closed up. And I tried to hide from my relatives and try not to have to see them because it was too painful. And at the same time, I also started learning about social skills. Hopefully that I can have friends and people would start liking me. So while at the hospital, when it was during one of my father's last days, and he was half sitting there with his breathing oxygen mask because he was breathing with this machine's help. So I don't know if my father was listening or he was sleeping, but I had a conversation with my brother right beside my father. And I said to my brother, my favorite auntie is my father's younger sister because she's the only one who likes me as well as liking my brother. She loves us both, while all the other relatives didn't really like me that much. And at this point, my father suddenly opened his eyes and he took off his mask and he pointed at me and said, "Everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves you." I was in shock. And I was like, "Okay, relax. Whatever you say, okay." And then my father settled down, closed his eyes again. My brother looked at me and he said, "Is it true? Is that how you feel? That none of the relatives like you?" I said, "Yeah, it's true. That's what I saw. That's why I felt that. And I have accepted it now. It's okay." And then, luckily, my brother is always kind of like an investigator. He likes to observe people. And he told me his observation, as well as what he learned through his studies. He said to me, this happened often with the younger sibling in the family, and he deduced that the reason I saw it that way was because while I was very little, couldn't do much, couldn't walk or talk, and I was just seeing how everyone was playing with my brother because he could talk, he could walk around, and he could run around with everybody before I could walk. And so he said, maybe that's just the reason. And he said to me, he just couldn't think of any other reason. And he said to me, this is not true. And he also told me that he observed his two children and his younger child experienced the same thing, just like I did. And that realization or evidence that my brother gave me opened up another new world for me. I mean, sure, it's nice to learn social skills, how to talk with people in harmony and all that. But if I was in a space of like neutral, I just want to learn it. It would be so much easier and joyful rather than thinking that I have to do this, I have to learn it because otherwise no one will ever like me. You see how painful that was. Do you recognize any illusion that you have been living under? Maybe since childhood? Maybe one of your siblings you found get more attention. Maybe if you're the older one, maybe you have seen how the adults give so much attention to your younger brother or sister, and while asking you to help them. Or maybe if you're the younger one like I am, if you see maybe your parents value your older siblings' contribution and allow them to help with household tasks while say to you, you can't do it. And maybe the adults were saying with love, because when we were little, we probably had tried to maybe carry something is too heavy for us. And by protecting us, to tell us, no, don't do this, you can't do it. And maybe we started having that illusion that we can't do it. And maybe then all our lives, we just try to prove to somebody, prove to our parents, prove to ourselves that yes, we can do it. I must try so hard so I can prove it. But wouldn't we have done what we do anyway? Do we really have to prove? And maybe some adults in our life when we were children, they have told us with utmost certainty that you're horrible, you're so naughty, and that's why I am sick. I can't stand the sight of you. Our family have this misfortune because of you, because you're naughty, because you never do any right, because you're not getting 100% score in your exam. And that's why I am so upset. Do you have this kind of illusion that it's always your fault? That no matter how much you try, you're never good enough? And maybe you don't even want to try anymore, because what's the point? This is the way it is. No one will ever love me. No one will even like me or look at me if I cry, because when I cry I'm so pretty. That's what my mommy said to me. And I must not cry now because I'm a big boy. People will laugh at me. What kind of big boy, big girl, grown woman, man I am? Crying, losing my temper. I must not do these things. And I must finish all my food. Because if I don't finish my plate, it doesn't matter how much it is on my plate, I must finish them. Otherwise, somewhere in the other part of the world, the children will be starving. Really? Are we so powerful as children? So powerful that we can bring misfortune to our family? So powerful that we will make our parents stop loving each other and get a divorce? So powerful that our parents will be sick, or grandparents, or our siblings? Is it really all our fault? And yeah, we must consider other people's feeling. You must think about other people. Yeah, so we don't. It's so hard to do anything now. Talk to people. We must consider again and again. think, you must think, yes. And then we procrastinate because we must think. Otherwise, we'll make mistake. Nobody will love me. Can you identify some of the illusions that you have been living under? Is it possible that you can find some evidence? Maybe ask somebody. When I was a child, this happened, and then I always felt that it was my fault. Is it true? Maybe there is somebody you can check with. Or maybe you can look at it with clarity and see, was I so powerful? Was it because of me that our whole world collapsed? And maybe people would still say to you, yes. Maybe they're also living under an illusion. So sometimes I think it's better to just listen to ourselves again with clarity. Say, for example, once my brother told me what he saw and what he thought. I looked back and I thought, yeah, that wasn't normal. Why would all the relatives like only my brother and not me? There were other girls that in the relative circle, the little girls were playing with my brother, so it wasn't because of the boy and girl thing. I didn't really do much. And then I suddenly thought, oh, that wasn't normal. But I never thought about it until what happened, what my father said to me. And because of this illusion, I find it so hard to love myself. Always thinking that I must be in a certain way in order that I am loved. So I started thinking, so if this is like an illusion, what do I do? What about other illusions? Are there other illusions that I haven't thought about? And then I started thinking about magicians. How do they do their tricks? A lot of time they use smoke to cover up what they don't want you to see. And how can we see through the smoke with clarity? And I thought, well, they usually on the stage, and the stage is kind of dark. What if I put some light? And not just the lights that the illusionists are using because they are tricky light. And I thought, maybe I can use sunlight because I don't know if it happens, but usually I think illusionists would not do their tricks with smoke under the sun. Because it's so easy to see everything. And what else? Air or the smoke just disperse very quickly if there is air, and that's why when the magician use smoke as the trick, they have to work really quickly. But only that for us, we never let the smoke out. We just keep the smoke screen. And we got so comfortable living under this smoke screen. So now I would like to share with you a way I found out that I can disperse the smoke and see through the smoke with clarity. So first, let me introduce to you these two neurofeedback vascular holding points that are called frontal eminences. Fancy words. Illusion. They're very simple. So these are these 2 points on your forehead. So see, if I on the side, this is like kind of where it starts sticking up. So it's above the eyebrows. In Touch for Health Kinesiology, we call them ESR, Emotional Stress Release Points. In Educational Kinesiology, we call them the positive points. I call it touching the forehead. So either in Touch for Health, we use 2 fingers and a thumb, and we touch like this, and like holding point, it means like we're just touching. We do not massage it. We do not poke it. And in Educational Kinesiology, we use all our fingers. So especially good if you're worried that, oh, do I get the points right? Just cover them. Or like sometimes I just place my palm on my forehead. And I believe we have all done this gesture now and then because this is just very comforting. So now you know, because when we do this, we're holding, touching these frontal eminences points. So, and then what about the sunlight? And what about the air? It is very simple. There are many uses for this touching the forehead technique. I have written a blog article about certain kind of use with these points, and I have put the link to my blog post in the description box, and you might go and have a look and try it for yourself. But right now, let me just explain to you, like very simply, when we touch here, these important points is just like we bring the attention, we say to the brain, let's focus here, which is like our logic center, so that we can have clarity. It's like amongst all the emotion, okay, come away, let us see things for what it is. So this is very useful. And when I was figuring out how to disperse that illusionist smoke screen, I also use one of the technique from Touch for Health Kinesiology, which is touching this point while visualizing intense sunlight. Now, I know some people are allergic to intense sunlight, and of course, we must not stay under intense sunlight for long duration of time. But when we're using our imagination, obviously, we will give the intention that this intense sunlight is all the good sunlight, the good part of the sunlight that is coming, and nothing else. Okay, and I have done this out in the open in real sunlight, and I like it that way because then I don't have to visualize anything, but then it's totally up to you. So all we need to do is we hold this pawn, find a comfortable position. Like for example, if I put my legs up, I can rest my elbow, and I can even look at the scenery. I can also close my eyes, listen to some calming music if I want. And while we are holding these pawns, we'll now visualize the sunlight and imagine the sunlight can shine through our whole body, because we might have smoke everywhere in our body, not just the mind or not just the heart. So then we hold this, visualize the sunlight everywhere, and we give some air by breathing. And obviously it's very nice if we direct our breath to different part of the body, but let's just say we give it intention that we are breathing in air for our whole body. And whatever smoke that needs to come out can come up through our breath. And of course, like I mentioned, I think in day 7, when we were experimenting how to listen to our heart, I talked about that a lot of emotion or unnecessary energy can come out through fluid, like saliva, like tears from the nose, and also like maybe we need to go to the bathroom a little bit more, and it's absolutely normal. So remember to always have plenty of water and rest when we do any kind of technique for ourselves, for our wellness. No matter how simple it looks, something is working. So pay attention to yourself. So yes, let me just go through again in case I missed something. All we have to do is hold this point. Imagine sunlight shining everywhere on our body, even inside our body, from from our head to toes. And we breathe, and we also imagine that our breath, the air that we take in, go through our whole body. And we allow the smoke to come out through our exhale. And that's it. We might it depends how thick the smoke is, how many different layers of smoke, and of course how much we want to hold on to the smoke ourselves, because it is comforting to stay at the same place, even though it doesn't make sense. So how long to hold, it all depends. Maybe for a little while, maybe a few minutes, maybe you like to just, I guess a few minutes will be enough, and then you rest. Just trust it that something is happening. And after all, this is all free. Why not? And maybe you will get a new understanding. Maybe you will get to see what kind of illusion you have been living under. Maybe then, after all the smoke has come out, after we can have the clarity to see through all these illusions, we might begin to love ourselves and the world just the way we are. And that is a very wonderful feeling. So I hope you will give it a go, and remember the link to my blog article about these amazing points are in the description box. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. See you tomorrow.